Well, hello. I didn't see you there. Welcome back to another edition of MTG ASMR with me, your host Kenny. We're back in the dungeon. We are playing Adventures in the Forgotten Realms. But funnily enough, though I mentioned dungeons, we do not have much of a venture into the dungeon focus this time. We are still exploring the different archetypes in this set. Today we're playing green-blue, an archetype we have not played before. But fear not, because despite being in a different color combination, we have an old familiar friend. In Pack 2, we were past, that's right, Mordenkainen, the Planeswalker. 4 blue for a legendary Planeswalker, 5 loyalty, +2 to draw 2 cards, and then put a card from your hand on bottom of the library. -2, create a dog illusion. Its power and toughness are each equal to twice the number of cards in your hand. An absurd token, if you have listened to the last episode. And then an ult that gives you a bunch of cards. Who cares about that? You mostly care about the +2 and the -2. This card was an absolute all-star in our last deck. We won every time we played it. We lost basically every time we did not play it. I was also wavering in this draft. We started very heavy green. We had a lot of green cards in our draft. We were thinking about a life gain strategy, green-white. And then we got past Mordenkainen. And then all other thoughts went out the window. I think it's just such a ridiculous bomb. And we were mostly green, so it was very easy to pivot into blue. So basically, we're running back the same plan we went last time. We're trying to cast Mordenkainen. Now, we do have other things. We have triple Spoils of the Hunt. This is a 3-mana instant that lets one of our creatures attack another creature for free. It's a bite. So our creature does damage equal to its power to another creature, which is very good. We have Gretchen Titchwillow. That's right, Gretchen Titchwillow. Green and a blue for a legendary halfling druid and 0/4. Great for gumming up the board. We want to delay until we can cast our big spells. For 4 mana, 2 green-blue, we draw a card, and we can put a land from our hand onto the battlefield. This is potentially the best card in our deck, other than Mordenkainen, because it gets us closer to drawing Mordenkainen, and closer to casting Mordenkainen. Besides that, we have some Ginny Windseers, some Contact Other Planes, 3 copies of Clever Conjurer, both as a 3-mana 2/3, which I think is a good set of stats for this set, and as a way to ramp towards our big spells. Now, you may be asking, are we Mordenkainen or bust, as we were in the previous draft? No, we have other spells. We have the Purple Worm, 5 green for an 8/7 creature that has Ward 2. So they can't remove it unless they pay an extra 2. And it costs 2 less if a creature died this turn. So this is potentially a 5-mana 8/7 Ward 2. Very big. We have an Owlbear, an all-star, 5-mana 4/4 trample that draws a card when it comes into play. We have an Elterguard Ranger, 4/1 reach for 5 mana. That makes a 2/2 wolf when it comes into play. And what is quietly, I think, one of the better cards in the set, the Rimeshield Frost Giant. Just a 4-mana 4/5 Ward 3. Very good. As for the rest, you'll just have to wait and see. Let's get into game 1. Our opponent is going first. We're looking at a triple island hand, and then every other non-land in our hand is a green spell. Do I have to tell you that this is not a keepable hand? I don't think so. Hand 2, all green again, but this time we have 2 forests. So we're going to keep. Opponent goes plains go, we go forest go. Another plains for our opponent. They play a rare, a dancing sword, 1 and a white for an equipment. It costs 1 to equip. Crazy cheap. Equipped creature gets +2/+1. And then when the creature dies, you can pay 1 And you can make it a 2/1 flying artifact creature with Ward 1. Very good card. We're going to play an Intrepid Outlander on turn 2. 2 mana, 2/3 reach. Already good stats. But it also has Pack Tactics. If we attack with it and enough creatures to add up to 6 total power, we venture into the dungeon. Not bad. Opponent plays a Celestial Unicorn 3/2. When they gain life, it gets bigger. So it seems like they are on the life gain strategy. We'll play a Temple of the Dragon Queen. It's basically a land that can tap for either green or blue, but it comes into play tapped. Then we'll go into combat. If our opponent wants to fight our Intrepid Outlander, we will play Bull's Strength. They do not want to block it. They take 2 damage. It's now 20-18. But they are threatening to crack back at us for 5 damage this turn. They play another Plains. Are they mono white? They equip, as expected. The Unicorn with the Dancing Sword hits us for 5 damage. It's now 15-18. They play a +2 mace. This is brutal. We're going to attack because it's all we can do for the moment. It's 15-16. We have 4 mana available. I think we cast Direwolf Prowler. A 2/2. We can pay 2 mana to give it +2/+2 in haste once per turn. The thing is, on any turn we want, we can stop the Unicorn for a single turn. Here's what's troubling, though. They're attacking us for 5 flying in the air. We can't stop it this turn. And they are not equipping the +2 mace, which means they have another creature that they want to play. Indeed, they play a Planar Ally, 5 mana, 3/3 flying. It can attack us and venture further into the dungeon. Next turn, again, remember, they have the +2 mace that is unequipped. They can hit us for 10 damage, which will kill us. This is troubling. Again, opponent so far is mono white, which would be impressive if that's actually what they have accomplished here. They've played 2 flyers and 2 incredible equipment so far. They equip the Planar Ally. It was a 5/5. We're going to let them attack. They venture into the dungeon. They went to Fandelver and they kept the card on top. That is troublesome. We are losing this game amazingly, spectacularly. We are definitely losing here. So we've killed their Unicorn, which was equipped with the Dancing Sword. They have chosen to turn it into a 2/1 flyer, which makes sense. Okay, this actually helps us somewhat. We drew the Genie Windseer, which we will cast. It was a 3/3 flyer. When it comes into play, we roll a die, and depending on the result, we scry a certain amount. We found a Spoils of the Hunt, which can help us bite a creature, but honestly, that is not enough to win this game. I don't know what is enough to win this game. I wonder if our opponent is mono white. There's 6 planes in with no other land. And again, they have not cast a bad spell. We're going to block their Dancing Sword, and we're going to be killed. GG. It truly does make me wonder, how far am I behind the curve? I just got beat by a mono white equipment deck that seemed extremely polished. All they played were flyers and incredible equipments on a single color. And it's not as though we do not have the ability to stop flyers. We have reach creatures, we have plummets. We have ways to stop that. Maybe just bad luck. Let's go to game 2. Game 2, our opponent goes first. We have 2 islands, no turn 2 play, but a fair amount of way to dig through our deck, and a clever conjurer. We'll try. We will try. I don't think a second hand will help us more here. We drew a forest. That helps somewhat. Opponent has gone forest, swamp, druid class. You know our history with druid class. We've faced it a single time, and it really did stomp us. Opponent then goes Circle of the Moon Druid. This is a 2/4 on their turn. Excuse me, it is a 4/2 on their turn, and a 2/4 on our turn. So it's a good blocker or a good attacker, whatever you need at the time. We drew a purple worm, so we're going to play Clever Conjurer in the hopes that we can cast this worm at some point. Opponent is gaining life from the druid class. Every time they play a land, they're going to gain a life. Opponent attacks with their Circle of the Moon Druid, a 4/2. They have 4 untapped mana, so they could very easily have some kind of blocker. Honestly, we're going to offer the trade. They take it. If they had a trick, they would have traded 1 for 1, and we would have continued on our merry way and cast another creature that could have traded for that Circle of the Moon Druid. They play Fate's Reversal, which gets the Moon Druid back into their hands, and then they venture into the Lost Mine of Phandelver, aka the only real dungeon in the set. We have 4 mana now. We're going to cast our Genie Windseer. It is a 4 mana, 3/3 flyer. When it comes into play, you roll a dice. On a 1 to 9, you scry 1. On a 10 to 19, you scry 2. And on a crit, a 20, you scry 3. Guess what? We rolled a 1. Because every other roll in this game is a 1 or a 20. We see a land on top, we are going to leave it there. Our opponent on their turn casts Circle of the Moon Druid again and a Warlock class. Seems kind of unfair that they're dual roles here. They are a Druid Warlock. It's kind of fucked up. We're going to play our land. Our opponent is not pressuring us. That's the thing. So what do? I think we pass. We have Contact Other Plane, which is a 4 mana instant draw spell. We have Spoils of the Hunt, a 3 mana instant removal spell. And we have Choose Your Weapon, which could kill a flyer if that's what they cast. We have lots of ways to deal with what they're going to throw at us. So we're just going to pass and see what they do. It's 20 to 23. They have gained another life from their Druid class. They're attacking with a 4/3. We're just going to block. The more we trade, the better. Actually, no, we're going to block. Because if they answer us with some kind of combat trick, we can counter them with Spoils of the Hunt. They don't. They're just trading. Maybe they're on the same plan we are. They're just waiting for their rare. Our opponent plays a Vampire Spawn, 2/3 that drains us for 2. It's now 18 to 25. We are going to respond at the end of their turn with Contact Other Plane and roll a d20. We got a 19, we scry 2 and draw 2. We see a combat trick, which we're not interested in. And we see an island. Are we interested in an island? Sure. We did draw Mordenkainen, and we drew a land, which means we have enough to play Mordenkainen. which is what we are going to do. Right? Yes. They're tapped out. We have Mordenkainen. We're making a dog. If you did not join us last time, the dog has twice as much power and toughness as cards in hand, which we have 5 of. So we have played a mythic rare planeswalker, which is still sitting at 3 loyalty, and we have a 10/10 creature in play. Our opponent is in trouble. They need to have a very good play this turn. They played an Inspiring Bard, a 3/3 that gained them some life. It is now 17-29. Again, not super good. What we are going to do, we are going to attack with our 12/12, I think. They chump with their Vampire Spawn. Excellent. What this means is now our Purple Worm is cheaper than it otherwise would have been. So we are going to put an 8/7 Ward 2 Worm into play. And then we are going to -2 Mordenkainen again. Our opponent concedes. We're going to put way too many fat creatures into play for them to deal with. Again, in the draft, I was green-black, maybe green-white, mostly green, and then I got past Mordenkainen. The lesson I have learned, the biggest lesson I have learned in this draft format, take Mordenkainen above anything else. If you want to win, take the mythic rare that you will almost certainly very rarely see. That's how you win. That's how I've won so far. We have a reasonable but not good hand. Forest, Island, a Cursed Idol, which is a treasure token potentially, or kill an artifact or enchantment, a Direwolf Prowler, a 3-mana play, Elterguard Ranger, a 5-mana play, and Purple Worm, a 5 or 7-mana play. This seems too reasonable to keep, but not good enough to be excited about. So we keep, and we're not excited. We go Forest and pass. Our opponent goes Swamp, Warlock class. A bit aggressive, is it not? Now we could just kill that. Here's a good question. If I kill the Warlock class as a response to them leveling it up, do I get anything from that? At any rate, I don't think I want to do that. Arena passed right through that ability, which seems to indicate to me that I can't actually prevent that from happening. Good to know. We play our 3rd mana, and we play a Clever Conjurer. We could play a Direwolf Prowler, but we did not draw a land. Our opponent plays a Soul Knife Spy, the 3/2 that if it hits us, they draw a card. So I'm glad we have a blocker now. In fact, I would like to put an Intrepid Outlander into play. Or should I? No. That costs 2 mana. We have 3 mana available. This is tricky. Let's use up our mana. We're going to play the Direwolf. 3 mana, 2/2. We can pay 2 to pump it up. We're going to go ahead and hit them for 2. It's 20-18. They did not block because their Soul Knife Spy is important to their strategy. They play a Thieves' Tools. That's an equipment that gives them a treasure right away. They equip it to their Soul Knife Spy, making it unblockable, so they get to draw a card. Opponent is doing quite well. Quite well. They play a Wizard class. Opponent is popping off right now. What do we do? They hit us for 5, and it's unblockable damage because of the Thieves' Tools. We're going to smack them for 4. It's 17-14. We don't want them to have more cards than they already have, so we are going to find a Cursed Idol and destroy the Wizard class. It's a race. A race we are barely winning, but our opponent is hitting us for 3 and drawing a card every turn with the Soul Knife Spy. This is not a good place to be. We drew Spoils of the Hunt. That lets us bite a creature at instant speed. So we are going to attack our opponent. It should be noted at this point we have 3 mana in play to their 5. It is 14 life to their 10 life, however. They left 5 mana untapped. They had nothing to do. That is very curious. Okay. I ended the turn, and now they're deciding what to do. They didn't do anything. I can't believe it. 5 mana in play, and they had nothing to do. Now they're going to attackers. We're going to go for Spoils of the Hunt to kill their spy. Maybe they'll use a spell to keep their spy in play. They did not, but they did go for a Deadly Dispute. It's a 2-mana spell. They sacrifice a creature, draw 2 cards, and make a treasure token. I have to say that was not a very impressive play, and afterwards they cast a Silver Raven, a 1/1 flyer. That was not very good. We are going to attack them with our Direwolf Prowler. Our opponent blocks. We go to damage. We kill their 1-mana 1/1 flyer. Not very good. This does allow us at this point, because a creature died, to use our Conjurer to untap a forest and cast a 5-mana Purple Worm, 8/7, Ward 2. Our opponent plays Manticore, killing our Direwolf Prowler. We could absolutely care less. They have a 2/1 flyer against our 8/7 Purple Worm. They still have 4 cards in hand, as do we. So there's definitely more things that they could do. Our opponent spends their entire turn leveling up Warlock class, which means whenever we lose life in a turn, at the end of turn we lose that much life again. So we take double damage, essentially. I think I can kill them, however. They're at 10 life. We have 11 power in play. No, we have 10 power in play. And we just drew a Bull Strength, which can give +2/+2 and trample. Which means we have a total of 12 power in play. That's game, I believe. We attack with both our creatures. They're going to block 8 of it with their Manticore. We are going to Bull Strength, giving +2/+2 and trample to our Purple Worm, and we kill them. Victory is ours. This deck is clearly superior to the last one we played, because it is not Mordenkainen or bust. We did not draw Mordenkainen that game, and we won. My friends, this is an incredible new dawn. We rise like a phoenix from the ashes of our previous 5 draft decks. We've actually won a game without Mordenkainen, believe it or not, which has put us at 2-1. Let's see if we can win some more. Okay. We are looking at a hand of 2 forests. Gretchen Titchwell, we don't have blue for. Clever Conjurer, we don't have blue for. A Cursed Idol, you find a Cursed Idol. A Direwolf Prowler, and a Spoils of the Hunt. This seems like a very medium hand, but we'll keep it. Opponent goes Plains and passes. We go Forest Pass. Opponent plays a forest of their own. So they are presumably on the life gain plan. We have not drawn a land yet. I think we're going to cast You Find the Cursed Idol and use Steal Its Eyes to make a treasure and venture into the dungeon. That lets us go to the Lost Mine of Phandelver. We see a forest on top. Would really have rather seen an island, but we're going to have to take what we can get. Opponent is playing Priest of Ancient Lore. That's the 2-1 that gains you a life and draws you a card when it comes into play. Very jealous of them right now. So we draw our forest, and we're going to play Direwolf Prowler, a 2-2 that we can pay to pop up +2/+2. Our opponent uses Spoils of the Hunt to bite our Prowler and then hit us for 2. That's definitely unfortunate. We did not draw a land. We're still stuck on lands. At this point, I think we need to play the Clever Conjurer, even though it eats up our treasure. Whew. Our opponent plays Driss Duerden, a legendary creature. 5-mana 3/3 double strike that comes into play with a legendary 4/1 green creature token with trample. And whenever a creature dies, if its power was greater than Drist's power, you put a number on him equal to the difference. That is a lot of action. And we have still not drawn a land. No matter, we are going to play Underdark Basilisk. We're going to declare no attackers. We're in a lot of trouble. Our opponent is attacking us with just Drist, 3/3 double strike. So we're going to take 6 damage. We're at 15, they're at 21. Excuse me, we're at 12, they're at 21. They play another rare, this one not as threatening, Loyal Warhound, a 2-mana 3/1 Vigilance. It has extra text about getting a plains if your opponent controls more lands than you. Unfortunately for them, we have so few lands. We're going to play Gretchen Titchwillow, the 0/4 that we can later use to draw some cards. And we're going to skip to their turn. Now our opponent can come after us with Drist, but we're going to use Spoils of the Hunt to deal power from our Basilisk to Drist. And that will take him out of commission. Our opponent is using... You hear something on watch to give his cat token +1/+1. I don't think they understand how Death Touch works. No matter. We're fools. We're absolute fools. I mean, our opponent is still a fool for blocking the Basilisk and using the +1/+1, but we're on 1 health now. We have drawn nothing, and so the game is over. We kept a very medium hand, and they drew quite a powerful hand. Smacked us around a little bit. We're now 2-2. We need the Mordenkainen. We need the power of Mord. This might be a quick episode. If we lose one more, we're just out of it. I'm nervous all of a sudden. This hand seems better. We have Gretchen again, we have Clever Conjurer, and we have a Windseer. Nice little curve. Opponent starts with Evolving Wilds. We start with something like an Evolving Wilds. Temple of the Dragon Queen. It basically comes into play tap, and we choose a color. It taps for that color. Opponent fetched a mountain. Then they go Forest, so they're on the Pack Tactics deck. They played a Knoll Hunter, 2/2, and it attacks with other creatures combining to 6 power or greater. It gets a counter. We're going to go ahead and stuff that with our Gretchen, 0/4. Big booty. Opponent plays another Knoll Hunter and gives it haste potentially. No, they did play a Boots of Speed though. We'll play Clever Conjurer. They're very close to getting Pack Tactics. They could, for example, play another Null Hunter this turn and equip the boots. They did not, but they did play a Bulette, a 3/3 that gets stronger when a creature dies on their turn. So we're going to answer them with a Genie Windseer, or do we just want to start activating Gretchen? I think we should make hay while the sun is shining. Here's the issue, however. Next turn, they can attack with all their creatures, and they will have pack tactics, and their nulls are going to get bigger, so we need blockers. We're going to play a Windseer. 4 mana 3/3 flyer. That's going to let us scry. Which is good, because we see another land, we ship it to the bottom. No attacks for us, please. Opponent is doing some threatening stuff. Looks like they're going to equip the Boots of Speed. No? Yes. To a Null Hunter. So both of their Nulls trigger, getting +1/+1 counters. All of their creatures can grow. That's an issue. The Null Hunters have more unbounded growth, so I think I'm going to block a Null. With my Windseer, I'm going to block another one with my 0/4, and call that good. Opponent plays Chaos Channeler. Haven't seen this card yet. It's quite good. It's a 4/3 for 4. When it attacks, they effectively draw a card. You roll a d20 and you exile some number of cards from the top of your library, and you get to cast one of them. You get to cast all of them, but you need to pay for them, is the issue. We drew a Purple Worm, which we would really like to cast. Are we willing to throw away Gretchen to make it cheaper to cast this turn? We do need to save ourselves from taking more damage. I think we can wait one more turn, though. Famous last words. So we'll play another Windseer. We continue to roll poorly. We scry a land to the bottom. And now we pass our turn. So next turn we can cast our Purple Worm, an 8/7, with Ward 2. But we are going to take a lot of damage first. So they exiled 2 spells with their Chaos Channeler, and they can cast both of them. Which is very disconcerting. Okay, we trade for the Chaos Channeler, and then we take a bunch of damage. We have 9, and they have 20. And as expected, they cast both of the cards they exiled with Chaos Channeler, a Battlecry Goblin, and a Valor Singer. The Bulette grows. We drew Mordenkainen. That was very bad timing. If we drew that last turn, things might look a lot better. Oh well. We're going to just cast Purple Worm. Now we have an 8/7 in play. The issue, however, is they have a 4/4 that can grow this turn if it attacks with another creature, a 5/5, a 2/2 that can give their entire goblin crew +1/+0 and can make goblins, and a 2/3 creature that will give another creature +1/+0. Plus, they still have the Boots of Speed, which can give +1/+0, and even haste if they have another play in their hand. I think we might just die right here. Our opponent is doing the math, I believe. And they should realize that they have the win here. They keep charging up their Bulette up to a 7/5 now, which I don't think was the right call. They're attacking with everything, it looks like. So we'll block as much as we can. And we still die. Exactly. GG. We have been defeated. and we have been ousted from the tournament. 2 wins, 3 losses. Mercy, mercy me. As of yet, we have not constructed an actual good deck, and I feel that every deck we face is very good, very polished. We need to study up. We need to play more. Come along with me as we play more Magic the Gathering. Thanks for listening.
Ready for a rules-light, narrative-failing forward collaborative storytelling tabletop role-playing game?
Unsure of where to start?
Powered by the Players is an actual play podcast featuring mini campaigns and one-shots of all your favorite Powered by the Apocalypse games.
Each campaign or one-shot will be a different PBTA game with a rotating cast of diverse players. We've got Masks, a teenage superhero drama.
Bluebeard's Bride, a feminist horror retelling.
Monster of the Week, a supernatural mystery.
Escape from Dino Island, a Jurassic Park-inspired adventure.
Crossroads Carnival, a Depression-era sideshow noir.
The next game we play could be yours, so join Morgan, Kristen, and Diana.
And let's power up.
Follow us on Twitter at PBT Players.
Subscribe on your favorite podcatcher.